Alright guys, we are live.
Ready? Hey y'all, Eric Jensen, Booker Wines, My Favorite Neighbor Wines, here with our weekly tasting. Today I'm very fired up. First time ever, I brought on Juan Mercado. First time I've ever done a shared deal. You know, this shit gets old doing it alone, probably putting you guys to sleep. So I couldn't think of a better way to kick off kind of doing a couple of these shared than to start with my long time friend. We both started. He actually started a little before me. Juan's the founder of Realm in Napa. Arguably one of the hottest Cabernet based wineries in the entire United States. I know Juan's probably got a bunch of his buddies on here watching. But today we're going to talk about Oublié, and we're also going to talk about Juan's new project that he's doing in Paso. Juan, if you're out there, why don't you jump on in with us? Hey, buddy.
It's like Batman.
Batman. So first of all, I want to apologize to those that watch my Instagram. You know, I don't know how to do Instagram, Facebook. The girls set all that shit up. I just thought I'd give a message on a kind of daily basis. Today I thought I could really scare you guys, and I think it failed, and I thought it was stupid. So I'm gonna give you an apology. Welcome, Juan. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. Beautiful day here in Napa. So
yeah, yesterday the clouds didn't come out, or sun didn't come out. Today, as you guys can all see in the vineyards in the background, Paso is just fantastic. I wanted to give a quick shout out to me and Juan have a lot of friends in the concert industry, music industry, and our hearts are breaking for you guys. A lot of people are complaining about their life right now, but the music industry is at zero. It can't do anything. A lot of our hotel friends are the same. A lot of our restaurant friends at least can do to-go food. Some are shut down. So raising the glass to y'all, because music's such an important part of mine and Juan's life. Me and Juan do a lot of traveling, do a lot of events. We do Coachella together. We do Lollapalooza every year together. And then we're in town late into the night eating dinners. We're at Outside Lands together. And then we just do random shows together. So you guys are in our thoughts constantly. So I know I got a lot of Live Nation friends watching. Oublié. Tonight, Juan, we're going to focus on Grenache tonight. So Oublié, I know this shit's confusing label, but remember when you're a DTC brand, you really don't think about, hey, what would sell on a shelf? So I wanted the name to be mean the forgotten one, and it was basically Juan, it was talking about Counoise and Grenache. Nobody thinks of those two varietals. Counoise for sure, but really Grenache either. And so I asked my neighbor Stefan Aseo, hey, what's forgotten in French? And they said oublié, the forgotten one. So oublié translates into the forgotten one. Really what oublié has kind of become is something, and why it was so perfect to have Juan on tonight. Oublié is about Grenache, right? It's a red fruit-based wine that is predominantly Grenache every year. In this particular year, 56% Grenache, and then about an equal split of Syrah and Mourvedre. Our heart with this wine really wants to be about 50 to 60 Grenache, 30 to 40 Mourvedre, and very little, if any, Syrah. We really want to honor that little point in France that kind of brought me and Juan together, the South of Rhone, which really they don't add much Syrah. Boy, they like Syrah, but really they're driven by two main red varietals, and that would be Grenache and Mourvedre. So without further ado, let's see how this thing's drinking.
Eric, do you find the percentages changing quite a bit from year to year, or is it pretty much roughly slightly over 50% Grenache?
Well, something I think, Juan, that you're gonna have to deal with in Paso, it's going to be a challenge. I think you and I have talked about it. When you were at Realm and you wanted to do, Dr. Crane or Tokalon or Farella, it was just, hey, this is shit they gave us, man. Let's go, right? Here, you're going to be buying. We'll talk about it a little bit more. You have your own vineyard that you own. You're getting Paderewski. You're getting some of these other cool sites. I imagine one day we'll figure a way to get you in here. And now that becomes easy if it's a vineyard, doesn't it? But when there's not enough to produce a single wine from that area, now it gets hard. So with Oublié, I can't just say, hey, it's this hill and that hill of Mourvedre. So yeah, it's a moving target. So the way I started, and I believe the way you'll probably start it, I have a vision in my mind that is Oublié. And I don't want Oublié to be Ripper. And I don't want Oublié to be Vertigo. So I have to keep it far enough apart. Vertigo is more Syrah driven, right? So it's bigger, it's muscular. Oublié has to me, be classic Chateauneuf, not Reyes, which me and you are so fond of, because that's going to be Grenache, right? Or not pure with Julian. It's a blend, and so you gotta look at some of these Chateauneuf houses, and that's kind of I kind of go back to those. And then of course Justin Smith was such a great inspiration in working me through this 20 years ago. And so for me, Juan, it changes based on my vision of Oublié, and my vision is always red fruit driven. Right off the nose, I've got to have the purity of red fruit, not a bunch of wood, a lot of concrete, so that the purity of the fruit shines through. A little bit of stem, not too much, because we're a whole berry house here, but a little spice. And then in that mid palate is really where I want that Mourvedre to be the backbone of the wine. So that one thing you notice about this that you're not going to get with a lot of Grenache, that mid palate, right? You get weight. And you and I are so driven by weight. I mean, shit, you made Realm, I mean, one of the most gorgeous texturally made wines in the world. You can never get away from that desire to want that mid palate, I don't want to say go big or go home, but that's kind of in both of our blood. So what hits you with this wine?
No, I was going to say it's 17 is the opposite in Paso compared to Napa, in that it's a very warm vintage. And so a lot of people have always, when they describe 17 as the big challenge for you guys was a lot of the heat. And it's just showing it's a lot of finesse. It's very pretty, very bright, very fresh. There's which is great. It's a really it wasn't something that I wasn't sure what to expect, and it's really pretty. It's got a lot of power to it, but it's also showing that freshness, brightness that I really like. Great acid. It's showing well. I'm impressed.
The heat was an issue. It was I was gonna say hot as F, but Juan, a lot of my people that follow these, they play drinking games that every time I cuss, they got to take a drink. I ain't cussing tonight, man. I'm done cussing. I should have given that up for Easter, but it was hot. But I'm such a big proponent of canopy, serious canopy management, and I think one thing that you and I can do is we can do another kind of class with everybody on vineyard. So we really protect the skins, and I use a lot of shade cloth. It's basically just shade cloth you might use in your backyard over your own canopy. And I just kind of get it over the vines at the right time so they don't get killed, they don't get too boozy. Because the last thing you want in a hot year, especially in Napa or Paso, is you don't want to taste a bunch of booze. So, yeah, this is kind of a good classic finesseful year. It's not overpowering. The acid shines through. But fuck it, Juan. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing. we took Counoise. For a lot of you, you asked this question a lot. You know, Counoise, man, I got to be honest, Juan, I couldn't stand looking at the shit. It's like watermelons out there, and I always thought I was a shitty farmer. You know, I'm going up and down the roads at the end of the night with my glass of wine or champagne, just doing my last kind of finish of the day. So I always pour a glass, not on Mondays and Tuesdays. And by the way, that's why this Tuesday shit's killing me, because I like 2 nights a week in a row off. And then I just feel fresh, like I could tear a fucking wall down, like I am Batman. But now, you know, I'm just kind of beat up. This COVID shit's got me drinking 6 days a week. I'll take tomorrow off. But Counoise grew like frickin', I mean, it was disgusting looking at it. Like, you're like, God, what's going on here? So I got so tired of it, I tore the shit out, and I said, this is a Grenache blend. So that's why that's gone. With your wines, in fact, Juan, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right into one of yours right now. Well, actually, fuck that. First, let's, did I just cuss, Juan?
I didn't hear it.
Comes out of my mouth. It's just such a foul habit. Juan, why Paso? You still live in Napa, and then you, of course, live at me and Bobby Fox's and in this guest house we're in right now.
I know. What are you doing in my house?
Yeah, exactly. Why do you get to screw all the rest of us and have the best of both worlds? It isn't fair. Talk to us.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of help. It's been all of you guys, the relationships, the friendships that I've had over the years with you guys. And then, I mean, the other thing too is it's great to get, you know, new people, whether it's in Napa, whether it's in Burgundy, I mean, there's always an excitement, and you guys have been very pro Paso. And so you guys have always had my back. You guys from the very beginning were very open about getting me into some of the vineyards when fruit wasn't available. But you guys, all of you guys gave up a bunch of fruit to get me in there. And so I knew that, which really appreciative. I couldn't have done what I'm doing, and I hope everyone likes the wines when they come out. But I'm very excited about it. But again, it's about the community, and you guys were all open arms. It's very similar to what I got in Napa.
Yeah.
You know, I had the same thing from Andy Beckstoffer and Kristen Wex and people like that. They didn't have to give me that opportunity, and they did. And maybe it's a wine country thing in general. At least I think it is, and it'd be that way anywhere, and especially in Paso. And I can tell you that's the way it's been for me. You know?
Ain't it a trip? Most of these people, and for those of you on Juan's site that don't know who I am, I'm the former winemaker at Booker, my favorite neighbor. We've been doing it since '05. Juan and I just became buddies, kind of in the trenches early together. And that's it. We farm organically, we farm biodynamically here. I do all the farming at all my sites. So there's my intro. Now you all know me. You know, Juan, the badass thing about this relationship for me has been the parties you throw at this house. In fact, some of the times it's been fucking funny where I see lights coming down because the way the new house faces down to the road, and I see lights coming. I'm like, man, what the fuck's going on down there? I come down and guys are banging down here. You know, there's freaking people on the barbecue. The records are spinning. I can't tell you what else is being done in here, but you can take a wild guess. It's all clean. It's all legit shit, man. We're in California. Shit's legal here. But
unless Artie or Russell Fromm are there.
Yeah, exactly. But the greatest thing is, like, you're bringing Brad Grimes from Abreu down. You're bringing Andy Erickson, who's a legend in the Valley, down. Tony Biaggi, legend in the Valley. Tony and Frederick from Staglin, Johansson, married to Chris Mondavi, is down in the guest house. These guys are cooking, hanging. The Staglins, I call Artie a Staglin. Sorry, Artie. But Shannon and Artie coming down, and Fern Frias, baller wines. And Artie now has his own project and buying fruit from here. What it's done with you here is it's really shrank the wine world, because I think what is most important to you about this and I wanted to ask you about it, but I don't want to put people to sleep. You don't just drink cab. You're like me and you. I think one of the greatest things for us is shit. We drink Brunello. We drink Barolo. We drink Burgundy. We're enormous champagne people. We Coors Light. I don't drink Coors Light. I ain't gonna bullshit you there. I'm more of a stout guy or a Mexican beer guy. I like Corona. I'm a mostly big heavy stouts or bourbon. He's a puss. But you shrank this world, and because you and I love so many different things, that's the badass thing that it's gonna do. Is you now get to fuck around with cab, which pisses me off because I'm going to do a project up there and it's going to happen here pretty soon. But now you get to do all your other loves, because since I first met you, you were a Chateauneuf guy. You love Grenache. And now all your friends get to explore. I got Tony buying fruit here. I know Benoit's buying fruit next door. Artie's going to buy fruit. Fernando's going to buy fruit from Frias and do some shit. So that part is really cool, but I'm going to skip all the pleasantries there. Do you want to break out and tell us all what the label name's going to be yet? Or are you just going to keep bullshitting and you got any
keep bullshitting for a while, for a little bit longer. But no, I'm excited about it. It'll be, so not knowing, for me, it's a learning experience, obviously working. The last time I ever worked with Rhone varietals was Pax. Back in 2001, and that's how I was introduced through him, to all of you.
Yeah, shit.
And so for me, it's learning experience, not only variety. It's been a long time, but more importantly, location, place. And so that's one of the reasons I decided to focus the first couple of years on blends, and I didn't want to lock myself into this whole vineyard designate thing. Not knowing the sites, not knowing the varietals as well. And I'll be able, and plus, the reality is you're not limiting yourself, and I'll be able to make better wines if I give myself that flexibility to actually be able to make a blend in terms of what I'm looking at, production, in terms of style, in terms of weight, in terms of texture. But ultimately, then once I dial it in and I'm able to find what are my favorite sections within certain vineyards, then you can fine tune it and really do a small vineyard designate here and there. But these will be blends. One of them will be Grenache focused, well, more like a GSM.
Is that what this one? Is that what this first one is? Grenache blend.
Yes, it's kind of more of a GSM.
Yeah, 58. This one's very. What is this one? 22 Syrah. Shit, does that say 16 cab? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit, just from a textures. Yeah, it is. It's a little bit. But these are not the
final blends.
They're pre-blends. Yeah, we'll be able to fine tune them and tweak them. Anthony Yount is our winemaker from Denner and Royal Nonsuch Farms, and I've learned a lot from him. And he's also, without him, I wouldn't have had some of the access that I've had.
Yeah.
From the folks over at Epic, and so I've been very fortunate, and so it's been a lot of fun. It's been.
So you're not willing to tell us the name, which is bullshit. For those of you people on my list, take a drink real quick, because me and Juan, we like to talk. Me and Juan, I'm the godfather to his son. We fortunately get to do this a lot, and we get to do it a lot on the road too. For those of you people on my list that don't know Juan, I don't know if you've been under a rock, but so Juan is one of the great people in the wine industry. There's nobody going to argue that. Name a city, Juan knows the best restaurant. He knows 5 great people that can meet you out that exact night for dinner. He knows the Psalms. It's unbelievable. He's got a photogenic memory. He knows people everywhere, but Juan shares them all. So Juan and me kind of share all the same people now. But Juan launched Realm. Juan, what was your first vintage?
02.
02. And we met that year basically at Hospice de Rhone. The year he released it. And you knew right away this guy was going to be a star. Mike Herbie made the wines at one point, who's a Napa legend, a legendary human being. Herbie was busy doing his deal. Juan then went with Benoit Touquet. But Realm is arguably it's one of the hot brands. You can't say the hottest because shit, there's so many of these brands up there that are just incredible. So now Juan is coming here. When the news breaks of the name, I'll get you all on the list. It'll definitely, unfortunately, be list driven. The pricing will be similar to Booker's. The wines won't be as good, but fuck, they'll probably be $10 higher in price. Just kidding. The great thing about it is the wines will be every bit as good or better. And Juan, right off the bat on this barrel sample, I'm starting to taste some stems. You're gonna move. This is definitely cool shit because to me, I'm getting way more Sanequinon and Dremel than I would Booker. What's the whole cluster play here?
We didn't do much whole cluster. I'd have to look at the final counts, but we only played with. We were pretty safe. Whole cluster, we did a couple of small lots, and some of those ended up in here. But overall, you're looking at maybe 10% or so. It's not a lot.
And remember, whole cluster means he doesn't take the berries off the stem. So throw it in and go.
A huge section of that is coming from a much cooler side, Shadow Canyon, and you're going to keep. So that's what might be throwing that off a little bit, in terms of giving it that impression.
So Juan's home site, it is almost like in a different country. 5 miles up the road, maybe not even that. It could be 170 miles. It's cool climate, so you get white pepper. You get the cool climate stuff is so freaking cool. But it's definitely a difference that I probably should have picked up on, just didn't pay enough attention to it from whole cluster, but very similar. It adds a complete different spice component. Juan, this next one is really cool, has a bunch of different varietals also. Are you thinking about playing with a little Tempranillo here?
Yes, there'll be, that was the biggest surprise for me is, when you go to Sonoma, you're obviously focused on Pinot and Chard in general, just because the economics, and the perception. And in Napa, you're almost stuck in the same way. It's so expensive that you end up having to plant cab because it's just easier for you to get your return on it, just because the land's so expensive. Paso is very similar to Napa in terms of heat, might be a little cooler at night, but in general, it does what Napa does really well, but it's not Cabernet dominant. So things that would actually do well here and in the past have, and that's why you get some of these old vine Zinfandel vineyards and Petite Syrah vineyards. In Paso, you actually have them planted all over the place. And you have that flexibility where you don't have to think about, well, I have to recoup my costs in this vineyard, so I have to plant it in Syrah. You can actually plant Tempranillo, and that's been the biggest surprise for me. It was actually, in some cases it was, one of my favorites. I remember the first time Tempranillo came in, it came from your next door neighbor, Connor and Becca over at Full Draw. And I remember thinking of small clusters that they looked like Petit Verdot, super small, beautiful. And I remember thinking, okay, this is going to be fun. And
when it's in the chalk, and where you're getting it is in the chalk. Yeah. So unlike almost any temp in the world, you get this massive acid too. So it uplifts it instead of just being dried out and tannic and rustic and old world tasting. Really, we're making new world Tempranillos that are just freaking incredible. You guys, this list is going to be so. I'm not just saying this shit. Juan, these wines are so distinctive. The great thing about it is, we want to make sure that, because you got Saxum, you got Denner, you got all of our friends, and making sure we don't run into each other. Napa has a tough time navigating those waters because if everyone's buying from Tokalon, what separates it, right? These wines are so distinctive because of the vineyard you own at Shadow Canyon. Don't ever lose that because that really makes these special. Laura, why don't we take the question? Fire one off. I got one from a guy named John. Juan, how many cases do you think you'll do?
I'm not sure what the final count will be. The first go around, first vintage, probably around 1,500 max. About 1,500 max, and the idea is, I don't know ultimately where that number is going to be. I'm not sure, but for me, it's quality first and foremost. We were going to, we would have produced less this year, but it was, some stuff became available.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you always give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. And so that's what I did. And so I'm excited about it. But
what the fuck is the Irishman doing in the background? Scotty Lewis, what's that? Lewis, what the fuck?
Hey, we're social distancing here.
Exactly. What are you doing? Playing El Ranchero?
Scotty Lewis, folks, V Wine Cellars, the by far best shop in the whole valley. One of the top shops in the state. I ain't just saying that. He's got a great accent. It's fake. I've traveled a lot with him, done a lot of concerts. I would highly advise you not to become friends with him and travel with him. Not good for the body, the brain, or lifespan. But other than that,
he's actually, as you can see, babysitting Beckett right now.
There you go. I'm babysitting, I'm cooking, I'm taking care of Juan here,
Yeah. Juan's not the biggest.
By the way, we carry Central Coast wines here in Napa Valley. We're one of those few.
All right. Hey, Juan, do you have anything else you'd like to hit on? Or before?
No, I think I'm good. It's just to continue to support all the locals, whether you're in Napa, Paso, Sonoma, LA, and this is the time that we got to take care of the people that have been taking care of us all these times that we go out. And all the time, sometimes we take it too far and get a little beastly or debaucherous, and they end up where we, as you know, hospitality, we get taken care of quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so we got to make sure that we repay that in any way that we can, and take care of your brethren. It's
yeah,
important.
especially you had all these friends and guys were working, and you had such a great relationship. It's almost hard to pick up the damn phone when you know that person, guy or gal, doesn't even have a job anymore.
No.
What do you say? It breaks our heart. So I'll tell you what you say. You send them some wine. You see if you can't help them financially.
Yeah.
You do whatever you can do to make sure that your friends have food, wine. The government's taking care of the rent thing, which I think is really cool. If you can't pay your rent, fuck it, don't pay it. Trust me, it's going to be there when we're done with all this. But big companies, small companies. So everything we can do. Tonight I'm going to get Bonatavolo, I think. We've been having fun, man, getting to-go food. And I'm calling all my friends. I'm making sure, hey, don't bullshit, man. Don't get my food better not be cold. I want it as if I'm in the restaurant. And I'm tipping the same or more than I would. So be creative. Think of other things you can do. We're doing some classes with Cuesta to train our hospitality here. We're going to launch some really cool things, Juan. So make sure in Napa you're doing the same thing. But you guys out there, we'll keep, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call me and Juan on FaceTime. We might be by the pool. We might be doing shit you don't want to see. So if we don't answer, but the big thing is that
that's free us, by the way. That's only free us.
Yeah. We want to stay in touch with you guys. Make sure we're in touch with your groups. Next week for us, next Tuesday, we're going to have Jeb Dunnick on. So Jeb Dunnick, to me, is one of the great uber hot new critics. He worked at Parker. He started the Rhone Report, so he was special to Paso because of the Rhones. Went to work for Robert Parker, and then he launched his own deal in the true entrepreneurial spirit. Guy's killing it. So that's next Tuesday. We're going to do Grenaches, but we're not just doing my Ripper, Juan. You're going to want to chime in. We're going to do Genasse, Vin, and then we're just going to pull out some other wines and just crack them and just see what else we like. So next week at 5, same deal. Make sure you chime in either through Booker to on the Booker Wines visit link, and Jeb will be on here. He's not the best looking guy. It's not like looking at Juan. In fact, he's fucking pretty ugly, to be honest with you. But you know, it is what it is. They had to look at Scott Lewis a little tonight, the Irishman. Instagram, make sure you follow us. I won't suck as much as I did today, but shit, man, this stuff's hard. At Booker Vineyard, at My Favorite Neighbor Wines. Juan, what are you at? How can people follow you on my site?
On just
Instagram.
On Instagram, J Mercado 7070. Yeah.
J Mercado 7070.
Yep.
I'm telling you guys, I'm not playing. These are baller wines. His winemaker Anthony is a young little freak who I'm doing a thing with My Favorite Neighbor this Friday night where we're going to start talking about our growers, Juan. Every Friday night I'm going to have the growers on. So it's Anthony.
Awesome.
We're going to do Justin Smith, Stefan. We'll do them all. That's it. Fuck it, man. That's it. I think we're out. Lauren, anything else for the ladies? We don't want to put y'all to sleep. Hey, remember.
People have to, they drink every time you swear or anyone swears?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know how it works. I don't play the game out there, and I'm not supposed to be swearing, so I don't drink as a part of it, Juan.
All right, well.
But this is the last time I'm doing it.
Great to see you and fuck off.
Everybody take a drink.
Cheers,
Cheers, all. Thank you. Juan, I love you, brother.
Yep, cheers.
Cheers,
Thank
everybody.
everyone. See you soon.
All right, brother.